Hello and welcome to the Media Center's series of Local Heroes, in which we showcase a total of 6 people from Atherton, East Palo Alto, Menlo Park, and Stanford for outstanding achievements or contributions to the community. We solicited nominations and we're particularly looking for the unsung heroes. Each winner is an inspiration and each has a great story to tell. We're here in downtown Menlo Park at Cafe Baroni, right next to Kepler's, both local heroes in their own rights. And we'd like to thank Baroni's for having us. Joe Wise is in the 8th grade. 3 years ago, he and his brother were diagnosed with a form of muscular dystrophy. By all rights, he should now be in a wheelchair and on a respirator. Instead, he's winning Olympic medals. Joe, thank you for coming. Congratulations. What is your sport, what is your event, and what medals are you most proud of?
My sport is swimming, and my event is the 400-meter freestyle. And the award that I'm most proud of is the gold medalist, or the gold medal that I won in the 400-meter freestyle back in August.
This August of this summer?
Yeah.
How did you get into swimming? Why swimming?
Well, first my mom made me do it, and then, well, she made me do it just for fitness, but I was playing other sports, and so it's kind of my secondary sport. And then
And what was your primary sport?
Probably baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I got diagnosed with my muscular dystrophy disease, the doctor said the only sport I can do is swimming. And so that kind of changed my whole life.
So, swimming is okay.
Yeah.
You started out, what, not liking it, sort of liking it? Your mom made you?
I actually really hated it when I was swimming. Like, my mom would force me, she would drag me into the car to go. And, yeah.
Typical mother.
Yeah.
Why did it change? The doctor said you can only swim. That's just another person telling you what to do. Mm-hmm. It's changed a lot. It's now a real passion for you. Can you remember a time when it shifted?
Well, I think it started shifting after a friend of ours introduced us to the Paralympics. And then I found out that I can actually swim with kids like me, disabled. And then I can have a chance to actually swim just like them and have a good chance of making the teams.
Well, so tell me about the Paralympics and how it works for people who don't know about it.
All right. Well, the Paralympics, they have classifications for people who have a broken neck, could be an S1 or S2, and I'm a classification S10, which is the highest classification for disabled athletes, except for blind. Mm-hmm. So, and then they swim in heats like that, where with each classifications, and then the medals are for the classifications.
So you started out on a regular swim team, and you were kind of not that good?
Yeah, I was really bad.
So how have things changed?
Things changed when I moved over to Palo Alto Stanford Aquatics. And then I had a coach that was really great to me. He taught me all this new strokes and stuff. He taught me how to swim better. And
you not only got better at Paralympics, now you swim with the regular swim team. Tell me about that.
Well, I was over with them at the same time when I was swimming with the regular team before I swam on the Paralympics or swam for the Paralympics. But now I just swim with them just to train.
So you went from being kind of the bottom of a regular team to being, where are you now? Just on the regular team?
Well, I'm in one of the fastest kids there on the team. I'm in the fastest lane.
So what does that do for your peers, for your teammates, do you think? They see you kind of a swimmer, then you get diagnosed with an illness that should be disabling, and suddenly you're one of the fastest ones.
Well, I think it makes my peers swim faster, so they don't want to get beat by a disabled kid. So that I think it makes them train harder, and then they push me, and then I push them. So it's kind of make it a team sport.
What about the whole psychology of coaching and winning? I mean, there are countless books written on the will to win and how that's the most important thing of all. Are you an absolute poster child for that, or what is it? What works?
Well, I guess what works is just listening to my coach, and I just listen to what he does because he's a pretty smart guy.
What's a good coach? What makes a really good coach?
He's smart, he's funny, he swam, and so that makes him good. And then he swam in the Olympic trials, and then got out-touched, and so he just knows what it's like to swim in meets, big meets, and so he guides me through them, and he's like a psychologist kind of.
I was going to say, what does he do right?
He
Or
just
maybe you don't know.
well, he just talks to me. He says that like it's a big meet, but I've been in bigger before, and so he just says like it'll be okay. Even though there's a lot of people in the crowd watching you, just don't like pay attention to them. Just pay attention to me.
How do you deal with the pressure? That's got to come from you, I would guess.
Well, I guess the pressure kind of makes me work harder because I feel like I don't want to let anyone down by just training. It marks me like helps me work better.
So let's go back to your when you originally had the diagnosis of your illness. Describe that and how it affected you initially.
Oh, when I first got diagnosed, it was kind of nerve-wracking because I didn't know what I was going through, and so now I like have to go like a whole day, or I can't go to a whole day without school, or I can't go the whole day during school. I have to have a minimum schedule. I have to sit at lunch with a ventilator on, and then when I get home, I have to sit on it again.
So what does that mean? What does it mean to sit on a ventilator for people who don't know?
I sit on a respirator and I breathe in like O2 because like my muscles and my lungs are weakening, so I can't blow out CO2.
So when this very first happened, you probably didn't understand much about it? Was it devastating, or was it something you just accepted gradually, or what?
Well, I guess I accepted it gradually because I didn't really know what I was getting into. So I wasn't really sure. I wasn't really paying attention in the doctor's office. So I just thought like, oh well, I'll be okay, because I was kind of young.
So what else in terms of your everyday life is different? Your school schedule has changed. What else? What can you not do, and what do you have to do besides the ventilator?
Well, I can't run anymore, and I used to be the fastest runner, so that was kind of disappointing. And now, also every Sunday, I had to get an IV infusion in my stomach with antibodies.
Which is every Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long does that take? And is that painful?
It is painful and sometimes takes around 2 to 3 hours.
How have you learned over the last 3 years to deal with this?
Well, I just learned that to deal with it because it helps me fight harder and harder just to stay alive. So I guess it helps me as a person, kind of just keep on fighting.
Do you think it's kind of an irony that maybe all your athletic success is actually due to a disabling disease?
I think so. So if I didn't have this disease, I probably wouldn't be swimming right now. And swimming I'm doing really great in, so I think it's all because of the disease.
What sort of advice do you have maybe to other kids your age?
Just don't quit. Just keep on fighting for your life. Then it'll be okay.
Are you amazed with your own progress and your own...
Yeah, I kind of am. Because I'm not in a wheelchair very often. And I could still move a lot. I'm still swimming, and I'm only 13, and I've already won a couple of medals.
How do you've sort of answered this, but how do you think you're a different person inside?
Well, I think I'm a different person because it just helps me keep on fighting. Just like get stronger, helps me like be stronger. And then I see a lot of people in wheelchairs, and then I kind of know how they feel like. Instead of when I didn't have this disease, I just kind of like stared at them. Now I know what they're like.
So you're much more empathetic.
Yeah.
Now, what about your relationship with your little brother? He has the same illness.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's okay. We don't really talk about the disease much, but we just talk about other stuff, and so we're pretty good friends.
What are your upcoming events?
My upcoming events is in March. It's the Para-American Trials, and it's for a team that's going to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. And if I make the team, I get to go down there and stay in a village and swim in like kind of a little Olympic thing, but it's not really Olympics. It's 2 years earlier.
Well, good luck. I want to talk to your mom next.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I'd kind of like to go over the same ground, but from the mother's perspective, being a mother. What did it do to you and your family to discover that your children had serious illnesses?
At first, I would say my husband and I, it was really scary, and it was almost life-changing for both of us on what we thought was important in life. I mean, the things that we used to be striving for were no longer important. Now it was healthy kids, happy times together, and making memories, creating memories every day, because we didn't know what could happen. And life could change tomorrow. So at first it was scary, and then it was life-changing, and in some ways it's changed us for the better.
How long did it take for you to get through that cycle? to start coming?
I think, it's probably, they've been diagnosed for almost 4 years, and I would say over the last 3 years, it would probably take us 3 years to come around to this and to say that, through this there are gifts, and that he'll try and find the gifts through it, the sadness in it.
So what are the gifts?
I think the gifts is you appreciate each other more, you appreciate your kids for who they are versus what you want them to be. I mean, we look at triumphs in little steps and little things that they do, maybe that most people accept that they're supposed to do on a daily basis.
If somebody had said to you maybe 5 years ago that this was going to happen, how has what has happened been different from what you might have expected?
If they would have told me, 5 years ago or even 4 years ago how it was going to turn out versus what happened, I never would have believed we'd be here right now. That the initial diagnosis was this could be devastating. And I look at my 2 boys, and they're the most courageous, strong men that I know. They have more guts probably than my husband and I, and their determination keeps them going and keeps us going. And I don't want to stop fighting for them because they don't stop fighting. They fight every day to get up and go to school. So,
tell me a little bit more about the daily life and how it's different.
the daily life is they need to, both of them are on ventilators, that they need to take vitamin cocktails to keep them going. Joe also needs asthma medicine 2 times a day that opens up his lungs. He's on a reduced day at school, so it's not a normal, he's not a typical normal 8th grader. Neither one of them can handwrite anymore, so we need to help them with handwriting. A lot of it is, are they well enough to go to their practices for the sports that they do that day? So every day you don't know if they're going to wake up and not feel good.
Actually, one thing I was going to ask Joe about, what's his schedule like? It's phenomenal.
Well, now that he's on a reduced day, he swims almost 6 days a week. He goes to school. At lunchtime, he's on a ventilator. He comes home. He does English class at home now.
But doesn't he get up at some ridiculous
hour? He does get up sometimes during the week, 2 mornings a week at 5 a.m. to swim at 5:30 to 7. And it's driven by him and his will to win.
So you are definitely not the pushy parents in this case.
Not anymore. I certainly was when he was 7, pushing him to swim, but this is his goal. And we've told him many times that you can be a high school athlete. We'd be happy with that. And this is him driving it. And so we need to get behind this.
As an alum parent of La Entrada, you have to tell me how they have accommodated him.
La Entrada is a wonderful place. We feel so blessed with the teachers and staff there. From the principal down to every teacher in there, they have, offered to order special desks if he needs a wheelchair. They've helped us on assistive technology. They've come to the house and worked with him, Joe, at the house when he's not there, when he's not at school. They send us emails. It's just been a great support group. The principal has really driven that by her love for my boys and just children in general, and just to make it as normal as possible for them.
Good to hear that. What have you learned from Joe?
I've learned from Joe that you can never give up. That you can get bad news, but that with your will you can overcome it. And he has certainly overcome a disease that can be devastating. He has certainly overcome and reached dreams that I didn't think were possible.
And finally, what sort of advice do you have for other parents, either parents of children with illnesses or parents in general?
I think for parents in general, our job as parents is about getting our children to their dreams, not ours. And that sometimes we have to put aside our hopes and dreams for them and let them go after what they really want to do. And that has probably been the best lesson through all of this.
Great note to stop on. I'm going to give you a little plaque here. Hang this up someplace prominent.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We are at Cafe Baroni next to Kepler's in downtown Menlo Park. Please stop by, come get a cappuccino, hot chocolate, go buy a book next door. We want to thank Baroni's for having us, and thank you for watching.